Everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the huddle at noon. As you know, it's not at noon. At some places, it will soon be noon. But this is a early morning huddle. I'm gonna have to get this officially back online. I think I'm finna have 4 huddles pretty soon. I gotta get myself back up and running and get this information out there. But this is the huddle at noon. And we here to talk about hip-hop today, people. Hip-hop. Is it still good for our people? Now, a lot of people may not know what hip-hop is, so I put a little small definition. A name for the 4 elements of the late 70s New York Renaissance, which includes breakdancing, MCing, rapping, graffiti, and turntablism. This is what hip-hop started off with. These 4 elements is the 4 elements that create everything that we see today and what one like KRS-One would call 9 elements today. And dealing with the 9 elements, which, as I said, this is what KRS-One came up with. Dealing with the 9 elements, we have a whole lot more to look forward to. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go through the 9 elements right now. I'm going to let others speak on it if they want to. But at the end of the day, has the message fallen from grace? You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time, hip-hop gave us something to look forward to, enjoy, have fun, entertain ourselves, be creative, use our mental capacity more than just in the carnal sense with physical things for its lust, drinking, smoking, things of that nature. Most of the stuff we hear today in hip-hop. So has hip-hop fallen that for our people? Is it still good for our people? I consider myself a hip-hopper. I participate still in hip-hop. I make beats. I rhyme. Search through records. I got a whole bunch of records, go through the crates, dig in my own house, do things of that nature because that is hip-hop. It give me a chance to learn about our history through music, what our people went through. Especially being in the South, I listen to a lot of blues. And, these people are talking the blues, what men and women went through back in the days, history of relationship, love, hate, cheating, things of that nature. So it's a lot of information when we comb through our musical archives. It's a lot of information out there. So what is it today, people? We're not sampling as much as we once did. That means we're not combing through the archives and listening to the stories and listening for the riff or the drum break or the, the open whatever sound, vocal or whatever. So we're not combing through our history book or our musical archive. So it's the sonic sound of the day. It's the machinas and the, things of that nature and electronic music and stuff of that nature. Is it killing hip-hop? Has it killed hip-hop? Has trap music hurt hip-hop? These are questions that I'm going to put on the table. We might have to give a special shout-out to hip-hop and get a whole week on the huddle one day and really talk about these things. Because this morning I put up a couple hip-hop posts, one by my Chicago brother and friend Steve the Funk Worm Butler, and another one by Mickey Halstead. He's actually on both tracks. One track he's on with Lupe Fiasco, and the other one he's on now with Jared Payton and some more Chicago artists, Juice. I can't think of them all now, but they're talking about Stop the Violence, Save Me. It's a good song, appropriate song. It's a public activist song. This is what hip-hop once was. It was about activism and things of that nature. I'm going to see if I can get my brother Larry to call in. I know he's old school. He does the spoken word and stuff. See if I can get some more people to call in. We don't have much time this morning, but like I said, we might take this up later on today. So, I'm going to see if I can get somebody to call in. I need to get some more people participating in this conversation. As y'all hear the train and stuff passing through. But it's early morning in Smallville, Arkansas. So let's see who we can get on the line. Ain't too many hip hoppers up this morning. Let me see if I can get. I know he up and busy this morning. Oh, let's see. No one calling in yet, just me. But hip-hop, the question still remains, hip-hop, is it still good for our people? Or is that why they don't call it hip-hop no more, but trap music and drill music, this, that, and the other, and hip-hop is no longer the term or phrase being used because no one is really dealing with the four elements. They just dealing with the one, and that's rapping, MCing. But even the MCing is not what it used to be. It's just rapping, basically. The dancing is somewhat still there, but then, they got this jerk music, this, that, and clown crumping, and, but it's still a form of breakdancing. Graffiti, don't see it that much, and turntablism is gone out. It's more production now. Everybody got a drum machine or something like that. They don't really have turntables. So like I said, with people not sampling the music, going through the musical archives and getting those stories and getting that past history that's been documented by the soul singers, with this soul music, then what are we left to? We left to, electronic drum sounds, 808s. Now, these was being used in hip-hop back in the days, but now it's basically, trunk rally music with no lyrics, no soul in it. And I think that's due to the lack of sampling. But sampling was a beautiful art form in the day when you didn't have to worry about lawsuits and stuff, and you was just doing parties and stuff at the park or at the the rec room or whatever. You can get it in and didn't have to worry about people trying to sue you and stuff because you weren't trying to sell it on a national basis and this, that, and the other. So as we see the history of hip hop and we see how it done changed, and as I say, they done put new terms and titles on. It's no longer hip hop. It's like rap, and then you got your, once again, trap music, drill music, crunk music, all kind of music, but not hip hop music anymore. Using the four elements and going beyond that, which one was once used to. I'm a 77 baby. You know, I grew up in at the end of the 70s, entered into the 80s, went through the 90s. Now we're in 2000, and you know, that's a nice little time period to see a lot of changes in our community, in the conversation of the people, so on and so forth. You know, I grew up on Public Enemy. You know, Fight the Power. You know, Burn, Hollywood Burn. Ice Cube went up there with the Bomb Squad and started getting beats and stuff. You know, so is hip-hop still good for us today? That's the question. That's the question. So anybody that want to chime in, just hit 1. There go my brother right there. Peace, what up, bro?
What up, Israel? How you doing this morning?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm gonna try to get this morning show officially hooked back up, man. I'm gonna end up with 4 huddles, I believe. I gotta open up another.
Yeah, I'll be enjoying it. I enjoy your morning show. You feel me? It's good to. I'm on the West Coast, so it's good to get up early and get straight into the consciousness. You feel me?
Yeah. You know, even news, because, you know, most of us wake up in this community, we don't really watch TV that much or, you know, tune into the world. We try to tune into our circles and what people, you know, want to elevate us with during that day.
Yeah, I heard you got I didn't read the topic, but I heard what you opened up your discussion with, talking about hip-hop and how things have changed. And but for the audience, I want to say my name is Brother Jonathan, member of the Magi and the Amara Squad. And, you know, I also professionally do hip-hop under the name Casual in a group called Hieroglyphics. So, I mean, I've been in the industry for a moment, and a lot of the stuff you're saying is obviously evident and true, you know what I mean, but I don't know. We gotta address it because it's like we don't even control our culture anymore, and we got duped with this multicultural thing, and then at the end you wind up on the bottom of your own culture. You know what I'm saying?
Watching it from the sideline, that's sad. We did that with a lot of our culture, rock and roll, the blues. You know, none of us know how to pick a guitar pretty much no more. We used to have the instruments back in the days. Now we only have turntables, drum machines. It's a big fall, people, if you really realize what we once was with this music thing. You know, we just had the death of Bobby Womack. Man, he was a musician, people. He was a singer. He was a soulster, you know. 314, peace, how you doing?
Peace.
What up, bro? Brother Kevin.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was just thinking about that music, and it was probably about a few days ago. Me and my wife was talking about it, and I think we was on jazz because we was watching this New Orleans. What's the name of this thing? I asked my wife the name of the little show she was watching, but they were showing how they was rebuilding New Orleans. And to come to find out, a lot of the music was coming from blues and jazz and stuff like that. And they had the natural instruments, the drums, the saxophones, and all those different things. And it sounded a lot better. If you really think about it, it sounded a lot better back then, originally, than it do today. To me, you know, the natural. Yeah, that stuff sounded a lot better, especially if you got a group, a band that can get down. I mean, it sounds really, really good. Yeah,
well, you know what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying we got away from a lot of that stuff, you know.
I was just gonna say a lot of the instruments they used to use back in the day is what they call analog instruments. Today you see a band on stage, they still playing instruments, but a lot of them playing digital instruments. They might be on a digital keyboard. And even synthesizers back in the day would be analog, and so it would be actually creating the sound in real space on the stage, as opposed to a digital synthesizer reproducing a sound of an analog machine. So sometimes I notice that difference in the quality that you're speaking about as well.
Yeah, I didn't analog give us more of a real sound or warmth. It's like talking about spirit, and people might not understand that, but it has a different vibe or spirit to it, you know. And you can actually play certain records and stuff they showed, and then play a CD, and the animals react differently to it because of the frequency. So we got to realize that at the same time, when people talk this subliminal message stuff, they can get it to you more easily through digital signals instead of analog systems, you know. So that's another thing that we got to look at with the music. A lot of people don't understand when you got this sound of the music, it's no longer that sample from analog, then going to digital. But when you're just dealing with Fruity Loops and stuff, and you sampling off a CD and this, that, and the other, it loses the soul. That's why when we was listening to Rakim, I know you got soul. I know you got soul because you listen to soul music, and you sampling soul music, and you putting your soul into your work. So it was life. It was a life force once upon a time. Now it's a lot of death in hip hop, I would say. But if y'all want to speak on it, I'm gonna shut up.
I don't know, man. It's a really big conversation because it all comes down to us. It's not even just with hip hop, as you detailed earlier. We lose control of the things we contribute to the world, and eventually we won't like them because of you know what I'm saying? The people who take control of them exploit parts of our culture that necessarily weren't the most prominent parts. Like we always know we had the gangster rap culture and all that stuff even before it blew up. It was people, I mean, you know, you could go all the way back way back in the day. If you really want to go back to like Jimmy Spicer, Spencer or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I ain't saying that's gangster rap, but it was also off into a different category. Well, we lose control of this and certain stuff we might, which wasn't supposed to be in the front, get pushed towards the front. And the people who control this capitalist society will give those artists rewards for monetary rewards for creating this type of material. And if that artist is not conscious, it's just going to create a cycle of new young artists aspiring to be that artist who is really an artist being led along with a carrot in front of his face trying to keep him running around a track of producing, you know what I'm saying, on a conveyor belt producing harmful music, you know what I mean?
So when we once went to the park jams or the rap battles and stuff and chose our hero or our MC, now it's being fed to us by industry. That's what you...
Exactly. I mean, super exactly. Check this out. Battles used to all be natural, and now all battles are manufactured. If you got a TV show and it come on every week at Friday, you got to manufacture a beef or a battle or so. They didn't even take it out of the reality. I mean, it can't even be real no more. It's a complete production. Now they find two good MCs and say, write hateful rhymes about each other because it's been, you know, it's an industry. I mean, not a real industry, but it's its own little entity now. And I'm not to say that that's completely a bad thing, but when it comes down to the true nature of the art, battle was for conflict mediation, and that's what we need to realize. Our artists battled in conflict mediation. We didn't battle just to insult each other. It was that other things possibly could happen, so, let's get this over with, and then we can leave it at that. You know what I mean? You
saying it's similar to the days when two two nations would come out and say, who's your best warrior, send them out, and we're going to let these two battle, and then once it's over, whoever wins, then we part, and we just declare ourselves the winner or whatever, based up off of the battle, and now we can be in peace because we won this battle. What if it was over swords or whatever?
It would be them taking that, what you just said, and then putting it into a gladiator ring and doing it every week. You see what I mean? That was a true way that they settled their things. And someone seen it and it was like, ooh, this is beneficial. Let's make a sport out of this. And then eventually it became a Roman sport to have the gladiators in the ring. But it's the same type of thing is happening with hip-hop. Somewhat, like I said, battles for conflict mediation at first. Well, capitalists seen that they can make money off it, and so they start producing battles. If you really, really, really want to keep it 100, me, myself, 1994 was part of the problem. And with a big battle I had on the West Coast on the Wake Up Show with a brother named Saphir, the Saucy Nomad, my crew, Hieroglyphics crew, against the Hobo Junction. And this was a natural battle, but me being young and me being signed to a major label record deal, signed to Jive Records, since the age 17, I got signed at 17. Well, I realized even in my early age that it was not all real. I thought everything was real. I thought I had beef in the streets, and I did. But at the same time, there would be press people showing up at certain locations that they shouldn't have even known about. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, well, how do the press know that we said we was about to hook up and handle something real quick? And so even back in the day, people would be injecting, things into the culture for their monetary gain, and that's really what it all boils down to. We don't have our cooperative economic system set up. Matter of fact, by the end of this show, I'm gonna bust out something brand new because you gave me an idea. I know a lot of us in this conscious community rap. You see how me being from. If y'all straight up, I'm a Rock Squad, you Israel Doctrine, they wouldn't even expect us to be able to have a cordial conversation. But for the fact that there are other things that we can discuss and talk about besides what we believe, we still got issues in this world getting money. You know what I'm saying? So we could put things together on another level to where I'm thinking, okay, I need to spearhead some type of compilation project or some type of mixtape project for the conscious community to bring some of the artists who are in the conscious community out into the hip-hop world, or at least to lend the hand that I can give. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I'm about to start thinking on. I'm going to start contacting. I know everybody got a flow or two, contacting brothers for a song or two, see if I could put together a little, contribution in the name of the Rock Squad.
Did you see my post this morning, the Chicago Hip-Hop Against Violence Save Me? My brother in Chicago did this, Steve Funkworm Butler. He got Jerry Payton, Walter Payton's son on there, and a good handful of Chicago artists to come together and talk about the gun violence. This is an old video. He need to update that. I don't see why he didn't spearhead that every year to do a new compilation with new people and keep the word out there in the street. Maybe it would have saved one or two more lives, but hopefully he can get back on his grind with that. That's what we need. If we're going to use this medium or use the elements and different things of that nature, then we need to use it. We need to get back in the community and have local artists and this and that, not competing on a national level, but just on a neighborhood level, this and that. And cut down. We got the conscious community in the debate forum. Then we got rap battles. We can have that. We can have things where we can get together and really talk about our problems and issues over the microphone that we choose to use and not given to us, as you say, by the corporate interests or the bankers.
Exactly. If we could figure out how to get some of these artists who talk about the stuff we think people need to hear some money. Let's keep it one. Like I said, just to be all the way practical, I know a lot of us are living this, but I'm living this, and what I'm saying is when I feed my kids, it's from income that I got strictly from either selling music or doing a performance or some type of publishing income. The majority of my income streams are merchandising. The majority of my income streams, all of them are independent, and the majority of them are based on music. And so I've been forced to even live a humble life, just being knowing some of the principles I know or following some of the principles I follow. I really couldn't just go turn on the track and make a foolish song that I know. Those hooks hop up in my head all the time. I'll be like, man, if I did this song, I'll be rich. But at the same time, I'll be like, but, personally, we got standards and we want to promote what we want to promote. And so sometimes you have artistic conflicts.
But this is where we get into, this is where we get back into the marketing and promotion of what it is we do. We get back into the networking. Because, as I know, you touring right now, so you making money off of going to venues all around the nation that will have you. That's bringing economics to whatever spot you're going to and whoever's coming to the venue, as well as you making your dollars. So, we got to be part of a network that can have venues. Most of these people that's in these different states that say they conscious and stuff, they should open up their doors and allow us in. They get a little capital, we get a little capital, and that way the network and the message is flowing in the proper cipher. It's going around the country in the proper manner.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. They say when art meets commerce, something has to give, meaning that business is its own entity and and our artistry is its own entity, and sometimes they will conflict. And a lot of the times, for instance, just to illustrate the conflict, you might have wrote a song, and you might be signed to a label, and you turn the song into the label, and it might be one issue you raised in the songs that the label won't think would be beneficial to promoting the song. So they, to make the situation real, they might be like, why don't you change that part or something? And that's when business, when art meets commerce and there's a conflict, and you say, okay, they feel that if you change that lyric, the song might be more lucrative. But you like, this lyric is part of my message. And so I've learned that a lot of rappers have sacrificed their message or what their original intent was in being an artist in the first place. A lot of us just wanted to be fresh, just wanted to be noticed and recognized amongst our people. But, that's natural, too. I do a lot of studying into ancient, Nubia, ancient Kemet, and I'm starting to realize even a lot of the things that we do to get ourselves recognized and we consider ignorant today, we did back in the day. For instance, if you wanted to be considered royal or regal in Nubia, the bigger your pendant, meaning your medallion around your neck, your gold chain, the bigger your medallion, and I could give you sources on this, the bigger your medallion, the more important you were. All right? Now, that's crazy because when we get a chance to create our own cultures, some of these customs reemerge just naturally. But we look at it, since we under another man's paradigm, we look at our own thing, our own culture as ignorant, or so to speak. So even myself, considering myself quote unquote a conscious rapper, sometimes I'm shunned on, why you got a house on your neck, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. But now getting a little bit more awareness, I'm like, man, that was a natural inclination that possibly don't fit in the time frame we in, but that was still genetic that made a person want to take this material gold and adorn their body with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Even Pimp C came out like that when he was like, yeah, man, we come from royalty and stuff. So when you see these people doing these things, so before Pimp passed, he was on that. But then you had Pac in this first one, too popular now. You got to do some selling out just to get your record out. So if I don't go gold, at least my story's still getting told. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we all should be aware of this. This is where you get the Baphomet conversation nowadays and people selling out Illuminati that everybody's so into. But that's because we're not controlling it. If you was controlling it in your neighborhood, in your community, at your rec centers or playgrounds and stuff, and you was really allowing people to learn how to make a proper beat and sample and, look for, different openings and records and how to put, you know what I'm saying? It's just like anything else. It's a craft that one has to master, and it's techniques and certain things that need to be passed to the next generation so they can use it. I think when a lot of these producers and stuff, too, which is to agree heavily involved in the fact of the death of hip-hop, as Nas once said, but, it's resurrected, that when they weren't teaching certain production techniques and stuff because they wanted to be the one that produced all the records and they weren't bringing people up. That's one thing that we losing a lot in all of this in our community, that no one is raising somebody else up to take the next generation. I mean, pretty soon those that's older going to either retire or die out, and then you got to have somebody else for the next generation to keep the elements and keep the blueprint intact.
That's them secrets they talk about, and that's one of the basics of masonry. If we want to really look at how it started and formed from stone masonry, and then it's also one of the roots to the word industry. If we break all that down, we know how the stonemasons first acquired a skill that was useful that all people didn't have. And we know Homo sapiens sapiens, obviously, what made us different was one of our abilities was the ability to share in order to resolve the conflict of some man just coming up and snatching your family's meal or what have you. And so sharing was a bit natural for us, but then when it came to information that would become prosperous at those certain points in times in life, people start hoarding secrets of how to do certain things. Like you wasn't everybody else had a mud brick house and you had a stone house. I'm just giving, that might be a poor example, but you know what I'm saying. We know evident that it started with stone masonry. Now, when I mentioned industry and how they talk about being in the record industry, once I looked up the etymology, and I can't recall it perfectly on the line, but what I do recall that it meant somewhat like pooling the clever or the diligent into a circle, or to get the diligent people of a. Basically, if we rappers, well, we're going to take all the most diligent and all the most prolific and form them into a circle, and these type of circles is called industry. And so, I mean, if you look at it, if you're in front of a computer, you can just type industry and put etymology online and probably add to some of the dialogue because I ain't in front of a computer right now. But basically what I noticed was, it's a plan, and even if we look at the degrees, when it comes to obtaining knowledge, you have to obtain knowledge in degrees. To them, a degree is just a level of information that you've obtained so far until you got to the highest degree. Well, all this same stuff came out of masonry too, getting your degrees, you know what I'm saying? And so these are degrees of information. You know?
Now I speak on it. He speak on it like, that he doing stuff like the Mason Logs and Dr. York, this, that, and the other. You can hear it in the music, and we all know that Rakim was a 5%er. Wu-Tang, 5%er. These people kicked that. They was kicking that knowledge. That's when the controversy with Jay-Z when the 5% chain came up and stuff. Then you got rappers today like Mos Def doing the Moorish thing and being locked out of the country and stuff. So it shows where at the same time that industry and some of those brothers that's woke or waking up or trying to call out to people, we know Pac did it real big, and, that's probably some of the reason why he gone. But at the end of the day, it's been a lot of shake-up in that, but we still haven't found how to get our hands back in it and co-opt it for ourselves.
Yeah, I just looked up industry. It says late 1500s. Cleverness, skill, from industri, activity and aptitude. And then it says from the Latin industria, diligence, activity, and zeal. Now, if we take all those words, and honestly, and look at how we apply ourselves in our craft, most of those people, most of the clever MCs, most of the most skilled, just not to belittle nobody, but the skilled, the active, those with aptitude, the diligent, the active, and those who show zeal are in what we call the industry. You see what I'm saying? If you could look at all of the rappers that you know, it might be one of those qualities that we just mentioned that may be keeping the person back. Now, don't get it twisted, I'm not bigging up the industry. I'm simply explaining how there's this certain glass wall that some of us feel like we can't break into, because I've completely been independent ever since I lost my record deal like 1997, but I remained in the music industry until I just did my 20th tour. My 20th year anniversary tour this year. Just got off of it just a few days ago. So, I'm just saying industry, I'm not promoting that we hoard secrets. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm explaining that some of this stuff, and even a lot of the stuff we perceive as what we need to do to get our careers off the ground, ain't what we really need to do. Knowing that it's a new day and age, everybody realizes that.
But just like when they did one of the biggest industries was Ford Motor Company up in Detroit, and you see that they put an assembly line together, and they just mass produce a certain type of material or a certain product, and this is what we see in the industry. Certain producer, you're going to produce all the tracks. Listen, we got to get this out. And it's like...
One second.
Goes back to the artistic thing. It takes time to sit down and be artistic and think of the next evolution of what you're doing, or the next, the next fad or in thing, But when you have somebody saying, this is an industry, and then they tied into other industries, because when they stop making cars, they start making weapons of war, because we was in wartime. But they used the assembly lines now to take this product off, now you put this product on. So people don't understand when you have a machine pushing stuff and people that's receiving, as you said, monetary gain off of it, then it's like, well, if this ain't selling or this ain't working, we just going to take this conveyor belt and put this on the line, and we just going to start pushing this stuff out. So a lot of this stuff, man, we just got to look at it. If we say we conscious in the world, we have to look at it. I heard Samuel Jackson, I was reading some stuff this morning, that he wants to do a homosexual movie now, when the man once said he would never do a movie like that. But, the powers that be and people, get in your ear, this is what David Chappelle was talking about. And if most people don't understand, a person like Spike Lee that was really doing it in the 90s and stuff, 80s and 90s, well, more the 90s, right? Spike Lee, he wasn't really in the 80s, was he?
90s, early 90s.
He used hip-hop. He used the Chuck D. He used the culture. You can see it on the flyers, on the posters and stuff with the flat top. That's Kid and Play. You know what I'm saying? That was hip-hop. He used that to springboard into the industry, and other black peoples got on after that. He had a lot of the movie stars in this movie. Who did the movie Coming to America? Just Eddie Murphy and who?
Yeah. Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, but who was the main contributors behind that and stuff? Because there's a lot of big-time actors in them, what the Wayans brothers did, with, in Living Color and stuff.
Yeah.
All of these things that sparked from the 90s sparked off of the back of hip-hop. Even when the two, Marlon and Damon, or however you say, when they came on, what was that song they was playing? That was a Tribe Called Quest, one that I ain't heard the intro to that TV show in so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so hip-hop is embedded in everything since the 90s, man, and we got to realize that that's a great machine, man. You know, and they done put some whack stuff on the conveyor belt, and they just pushing it out. We need to find some way to, you know, make it more personal and use it in our community and our neighborhoods to change the mindsets of people. I know I tried my best to do it. Like I said, I got a nice little record collection, not a great one, but a nice one. And, you know, I used to try to teach them how to spin that record player and find them sounds and, you know, chop out stuff and sample and everything, you know, to try to get in guys, because they look at the Lil Waynes and they look at the Gucci Mans and different people, and they wonder how they do it, and they want to be like that. But you know, if you could show them how to do it and give a direction that's not in that direction, then you could probably save a life. And as the book say, you convert a sinner, you know, you had a multitude of sins. So you convert a brother from that gangsterism, that mentality, and more conscious of, you know, put them in reality. And next thing you know, 1 teach 2, 2 teach 3, you know, 4 teach 8, or however you want to do it. Or we could get the Fibonacci count. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 5. However you mess with any. But man, that's pretty much the show. We got 4 minutes or whatever. Anybody got anything they want to say before we bounce? I got to get this morning show back up and running. I think I'm gonna have a Huddle 4 popping up pretty soon. So Jonathan, you still with us? Jonathan, you still with us? I don't know if he had to do something. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was just saying that was pretty much it for me. I got a lot of information from him, the guy. Listening to both of y'all, I ain't know that about the instruments and stuff like that until I just pretty much heard it, and it makes sense too. So I don't know. Every generation that come up is something, a new little flavor, a kick to something, but it always can be traced back to the past, you know.
Yeah, that's why they trying to, you know, when they do live shows now, they try to have a band. And people forget about that. When you once had a band, these guys had like a, whatchamacallit, they had a union. And so you go to certain city, you get certain band members and this, that, put a band together, and they made money. You know, they can make money by doing live shows and stuff. So when people come to town, you know, they go get the best in town, or they go get the second best. People knew who was who. These people will fraternize with each other, and as we were saying before, they'll talk about skill levels, certain way to play the bass, you know, the guitar or the drums and this, that, you know. So, man, there's so much that we just need to learn, that if we really sit down and deal with each other, talk with each other, that we can really learn from each other, teach each other, and grow with each other. So with that said, I'm gonna call it the day. We'll talk later on. 4:00, we talking about the gospel. We're gonna clean this up today. We're not gonna talk with nobody. We're gonna do the 2-hour show. Basically show people what the gospel is, which really is taking care of the poor, the needy, this, that, and the other, because, you know, we're not supposed to love in just words, but deed also. So when Jesus went out, as I put on my wall, he took care of the people and he preached the gospel. It's a twofold thing, people. You got to speak it and you got to live it. So with that said, I appreciate everybody that called in, listened in, archive and stuff. And we're going to have the Huddle 4 up in a little bit so we can start doing the morning show a little bit after morning, noon or whatever, 4:00 and 8:00 show. We're we're going to try to accomplish more, seeing that we sitting down here.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are a mighty fortress of supreme knowledge. Progressive Direct has not only revealed their rates, but those of their competitors. If you were any more in the know, you would be drowning in, the know.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates, because knowledge is power. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
Before you lies a beautiful meadow. In that meadow, Progressive Direct has placed its auto insurance rates alongside those of competitors. You select the lowest rate and feel a great sense of calm. A great sense of...
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates so you can rest easy. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.